Court is in session in two dockets. We have the motion to revoke probation docket and our first case we're calling on the announcement docket is cause number 331748. State of Texas versus Scott Zering or Scott Claiborne Zering. We have Mr. Zering, attorney, Mr. Bruce Smith, who is here. Mr. Smith, how are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
I'm doing fine. And the state is represented by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
And Mr. Smith, you have an announcement
Yes,
you'd like to make?
That is still in. And he has a felony case, which I just brought to drug court and verified they do have a hold on him there. Nothing Mormon is his attorney in the felony case. It's my understanding. Hopefully he's going to make it
Next year?
He was supposed to, he almost made it in April this year, but
Okay, okay, everyone that's on Zoom, please put your mics on mute. Okay, I'll put them on for you. Miss Amanda, put your mic on mute. Okay, now what were we saying?
Both courts, both your court and the felony court have a hold on him, TDC. So when he is released, he's going to be brought here, and he'll have enough time for us to do it.
So what we'll do, let's reset about 90 days just to kind of be like a status.
Yes, sir.
So we could check up on it to see, where he is.
I'll
Okay.
be tomorrow.
Okay, we'll reset it now. Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Miss Olivier, please put your mic on mute. Thank you. Mr. Mace, are you ready on Roberts? Okay. This is calls on the announcement docket. Jemiah Roberts. It hadn't been signed? Oh, y'all have a clear agreement? Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay, okay, y'all can sit back down. I'll give y'all time to sign it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Garza, please put your mic on mute.
Okay, 1 second, sir.
Thank you. Jefferson County Court of Law, back in session, cause number 332-084, case of Style of State of Texas versus Jemiah Roberts. Ms. Roberts, is that your full name? Ms. Roberts, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Roberts, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Ms. Roberts, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Roberts? You doing good? That's good. Now, Ms. Roberts, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney John Macy. Attorney Macy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Macy, do you waive a record in Ms. Roberts' case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And again, Mr. Lamar Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
That's good. Ms. Roberts, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about February 19th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of resisting arrest, search, transportation. Ms. Roberts, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Ms. Roberts, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Ms. Roberts, I have another document before me. This document is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. On page 2 of this document, Ms. Roberts, there are a set of initials, JR, that are on a line next to a box that says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Ms. Roberts, did you also sign this document? Ms. Roberts, the next document that is titled Trial Court Certification, that's titled Trial Court Certification, the Defendant's Right of Appeal. There's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Did you also sign this document?
Yes.
At the top of this same document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? Ms. Roberts, I also have another document here. This document is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Roberts, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Macy, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Macy went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Roberts, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's 1?
Yes, Your Honor. Say all.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Macy, you advised and counsel Ms. Roberts, is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Roberts, your attorney, Mr. Macy, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Ms. Roberts, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
You do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendants plead guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. And we ask that the court, we ask that the court suspend the imposition of that jail sentence, placing defendant on community supervision for 12 months, requiring defendant to pay a $500 fine and requiring defendant to complete 40 hours of community service.
Ms. Roberts, the state. See, we have affidavit injustice. The state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you would not have to serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 12 months. During the 12-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $307, which comes to a total of $807. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County the court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. Your total monthly installments that you'll be required to pay each month, that is the total amount you'll be required to pay each month, is $175. Will you be able to pay $175? You will? You like you was in deep thought. So you'll be able to pay it? Okay, and Ms. Roberts, you'll also be required to perform 40 hours of community service, and you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Now, Ms. Roberts, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Roberts, you're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney. You're gonna follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to leave and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Macy, I think this is your only case.
I have
You
another
have another?
one, Your Honor, Mr. Wynn,
Hi, Ms. Robbins.
5
Your
Wynn.
right thumbprint on that blue light in front of you.
Okay. Is 5 Win here?
All right, now, Ms. Roberts,
I didn't see
can I
him,
get
but
your signature on that signature pad located in front of you? You won't be.
He's out on the cash bond.
We had a letter that was written.
that's the one.
Yeah, he had contact the consulate. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll come back to it.
Yes, sir. Now, Ms. Roberts, can I have you raise your right hand, please? You swear that you've never before been given probation or deferred adjudication for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state? Okay, and you have no other pending charges that you're with? All right, so you're just gonna take this paperwork and report to the address that I've attached to the front page, and they'll go over everything.
Okay, the next case is cause number 331302. This case is style of state of Texas versus Leticia Monica Lujan Lalanas.
I have to translate, yeah, that's right.
Okay. Oh, okay. This is. This is cause number 331302. Case of style of state of Texas versus Leticia Monica Lujan Lalanas. We have Miss Lalanas who's here with attorney Charlie Rojas. Attorney Rojas, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge.
And Attorney Rojas has informed the court that Miss Lalanas speaks Spanish, and Mr. Rojas speaks Spanish as well. And so, Mr. Rojas, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Rojas, do you swear to interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish? So help you God.
I do.
You may put your hand down. And so the court is going to allow Mr. Rojas to interpret for his client. Now, Mr. Rojas asks Ms. Lujan Lalanas,
Giannis.
Yanis, okay, Lujan Yanis. If her full name is Letitia Monica Lujan Yanis.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ask her to raise her right hand. And Ms. Lujan Yanis, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may put your hand down. Ms. Lujan Yanis, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Okay. Now, Mr. Rojas, do you waive a record in Ms. Yanis's case?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Ms. Lujan Yanis, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about August 28 of 2021, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Ms. Lujan Yanis, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to discharge Ms. Lujan Yanis, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Guilty. Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lujan Yanis, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And at the bottom of this first page of this document, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment states exhibit number 1, there are a set of initials, LML. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And the initials are below a paragraph that is titled citizenship. I will go over this paragraph with you, and it reads, if you are not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or nola contendere may result in deportation, exclusion from admission to this country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you still want to go forward with your plea?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I also have before me a document that is titled English, well said, not English, but for all foreign nationals except those from mandatory notification countries. And this is in Spanish. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And to the question, do you want us to notify your consular officers at this time? There's a circle around no. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Rojas, pursuant to Padilla versus Kentucky, did you advise your clients of the potentials and the consequences of entering a plea of no contest or guilty to these charges?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Ms. Yanis, on page 2 of State's Exhibit number 1, there are a set of initials, LML, next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are two boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document on paper that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Ms. Yanis. Before you sign all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did your attorney go over these documents with you in Spanish?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Yanis, you are not a US citizen, is that correct?
Correct.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor, state offer states one.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Rojas, you've advised and counseled your client. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Yanis, your attorney, Mr. Rojas, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Yanis, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. We're asking that the court suspend the imposition of that sentence, placing the defendant on community supervision for a period of 12 months, requiring the defendant to pay a $750 fine, requiring the defendant to complete 40 hours of community service, and for the probation to include the standard DWI conditions, plus DWI education course, plus an interlocutor by Your Honor.
Ms. Yanis, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you would not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus court costs. The total fine and court cost is $1,112. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month and a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll also be required to reimburse Jefferson County court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. You'll be required to pay the Jefferson County DWI education class an initial evaluation fee of $100 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation is $200. Ms. Yanis, will you be able to pay the $200 each month?
Yes.
You'll also be required to perform 40 hours of community service. You will attend and complete a DWI class and have an alcohol assessment. You'll also be required to install a DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. And you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Ms. Yanis, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Yanis, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Yanis, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney. You're going to follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Rojas, once you sign, you'll be free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge. You too.
All right, thank you.
All right, Ms. Yanis, can I get your right thumbprint on that blue light in front of you? And now can I get your signature on that signature pad located in front of you? Won't do that here, but I will. All right, Mr. Rojas, can I get your signature, please?
Ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And now, Ms. Yanis, attached is your paperwork that you'll take to the probation office. I've attached a copy with the directions and we'll go over all the terms and conditions. Thanks.
Okay, next case is Amanda Ann Olivier, cause number 330220. Ms. Olivier, excuse me, is on Zoom. Ms. Olivier, you can take your mic off of mute. Ms. Olivier, your full name Amanda Ann Olivier?
Yes,
Okay, Ms. Olivier, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Todd LeBlanc, who is also appearing via Zoom. Attorney LeBlanc, how are you doing? Mr. LeBlanc, I think you was breaking up a little bit. Mr. LeBlanc, what is your announcement in Ms. Olivier's case?
Judge, we need a little bit more time. I believe she's about to deliver, I think, is what she told me, and I hadn't been able to meet with her.
Okay, how much time do y'all need?
Well, 30 days, I guess. I don't know where
Let me reset it
in that
60.
process, but
Oh, she had it? Okay, I think it says she had it. Miss Olivia, you delivered your child?
no, not yet.
Okay,
I'm on bed rest at the time, and I have 3 days till I go.
okay.
I have
So
three-
let's reset about 75 days. That's fine. Miss Olivia, your case is gonna be reset till December 16th of 2022.
Okay.
You're gonna stay in contact with your attorney, your bondsman. They'll be giving notice of your reset date. The court is praying that you have a healthy child and you have a safe delivery.
Thank
Okay, and so, Miss Olivier, this will conclude your case. So you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.
All right, you're welcome. Take care of yourself.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. And Mr. LeBlanc, your reset will be sent to you. I think this is your only case. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Next case is clause number 326166. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Zacrease Johnson. Mr. Johnson is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Johnson, you can take your mic off of mute. Mr. Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
That's good. Mr. Johnson, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Mr. Joe Vasquez, who is also appearing via Zoom. Mr. Vasquez, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Vasquez, what is your announcement in Mr. Johnson's case?
Judge, could we have another reset, please? We have not completed discovery in Mr. Johnson's case.
Give him okay, you need a standard 30-day reset?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, this case will be reset to October 21st. Mr. Johnson, your attorney and your bondsman will be given notice of your reset. Stand contact with your attorney and your bondsman. Your case is reset to October 21st of 2022. You're free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Vasquez, this is your only case. You are, and Mr. Vasquez, this is your only case. Your reset will be sent to you. You're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge. You too.
David Garza,
Your Honor, we state.
y'all have?
We have an act-
Is the paper, oh, the paperwork is now,
I'm finishing up on it right now.
okay. Y'all can come on up.
Your Honor, we're gonna ask that he be allowed to start his mandatory 72 hours next Friday at 9 a.m.
I mean, that's in the plea agreement?
Yes.
Okay. That's,
All right. It's about to start printing.
David Garza. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session and cause number 331-520. Case is styled the state of Texas versus David Daniel Garza. Mr. Garza, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garza, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Garza, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Mr. Garza, you may put your hand down. Mr. Garza, how are you doing? You doing fine? That's good. Now, Mr. Garza, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Mark Faggett. Attorney Faggett, how are you doing?
I'm good, Your Honor. Thank you for asking.
Mr. Faggett, do you waive a record in Mr. Garza's case?
We do.
Mr. Garza, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This document was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this document, it alleges that you, David Daniel Garza, on or about November 17th of 2021, committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated, second, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas. Now, Mr. Garza, this information further alleges that prior to the commission of this offense, that you, David Daniel Garza, on March 20th of 2013, in County Court at Law number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, and cause number 292198, that you were convicted of misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated, and that offense became final prior to the commission of this offense. Is that true or not true? Is it true? Okay, you have to say true. Okay, so Mr. Garza, to the offense of driving while intoxicated, second, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Guilty? Mr. Garza, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials DG on the line next to the box that's checked guilty.
Yes, sir.
Did you place your initials on this document? On the next page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is that your signature? On the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? You have the discovery certificate.
I do, Your Honor.
And I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Now, Mr. Garza, before you sign and initial all of these documents, did you read the documents? Did you understand what you read? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garza, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me States Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor, state officer, state one.
Any objections?
None.
No objection. States Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Faggett, you've advised and counseled Mr. Garza. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None whatsoever.
Mr. Garza, your attorney, Mr. Faggett, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation? Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation? Mr. Garza, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in Jefferson County Jail for a period of 180 days. We're asking that the court suspend the position of that sentence, placing the defendant on community supervision for a period of 12 months. Your Honor, requiring the defendant to pay a fine of $500, requiring the defendant to complete 50 hours of community service. We're asking that the probation include the standard DWI conditions, to also include DWI education course, plus an interlock device, Your Honor. And lastly, Your Honor, the state is asking that the defendant surrender himself next Friday, which is September 16th, 2022 at 9 a.m. To serve his 72-hour mandatory confinement.
Now, what's the date? Let's see, it said September 16th.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Gardner. The state is offering that you serve 180 days in jail. However, this 180 days jail sentence will be suspended for a period of 12 months, which means you'll be on probation for 12 months. During the 12-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $422, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $922. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll be required to pay or reimburse Jefferson County for the court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI Education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is, the total amount that you'll be required to pay while you're on probation is $185 per month. Will you be able to pay the $185 each month? Well, I just need to know yes or no. You just,
Right now, I'm helping my wife with her finances because she had cancer.
okay, let me see his, okay, just hold on a minute.
I mean, that's the best I can take. I'll be honest with you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would need the best.
I need to get a copy of his, bill. What I need to, let me see.
I have a copy of that if you need it.
No, I got it. No, you can show that to your client. Mr. Garza, your attorney just has a document that has been titled Affidavit of Indigence. On page 2 of that document, do you see your signature at the top where it says defendant signature? Look on the back page of page 1. Yes.
Yes, sir.
No, that's not page 1. The back page of page 1. Yeah, that one. Is that your signature at the top where it says defendant signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you turn back to the front page, is everything on that document still true and correct today?
Yes, sir.
So nothing has changed? Okay, let me see that document. Okay, so Mr. Garza, what the recorder is gonna find that you're indigent, as the court has previously found. And based on that finding, hold on a minute. Let me make sure, you said your wife was sick?
She was.
She was,
Yes, sir. She had cancer.
okay,
She's all clear now, finally.
okay,
See, my wife, I lost my first wife to cancer, and this one had cancer. And I was going through an emotional time. That's when I messed up. You know, I don't make it happen, drinking, driving, and doing that. It's just.
okay.
Going through an emotional time.
Let's
I
see.
just had to shave her head the rest of his life.
I think what the court's getting at is you've been helping her pay her finances because she can't do them. So actually you have an added burden than what you had when you signed this paper. Okay.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I know you had her income as 900. Is she still working or not?
She just now started to go back to work.
Okay, she's good, okay. Okay, so this stays, let me do this. Okay, so the 500. Okay. Okay, now, Mr. Garza, what the court is going to do, the fine and court costs in this case of $922 is going to be converted to community service. And that's converted to 74 hours of community service. The probation fee of $60 is going to be reduced to the statutory minimum of $25 per month. Okay, now I'll just go over this again. The state is offering that you pay a fine. Well, state is offering that you serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve 180 days in jail because it'll be probated for 12 months. During the 12-month probationary period, the state is offering that you pay a fine of $500 plus court costs, which comes to a total of $922. The $922 is going to be converted to 74 hours of community service. You'll be required to pay instead of paying a $60 probation fee, the probation fee is going to be reduced to the statutory minimum of $25 per month. You also be required to pay a $15 urinalysis fee each month. You'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County the $250. And you're required to pay Jefferson County DW education class and initial evaluation fee of $125. Should, on the day of the plea, should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, do you understand what I've just told you? All right. Now, you'll also be required to perform 50 hours of community service. That was the 50 hours that the state had initially recommended. So the 50 hours is going to be added to the 74 hours. Okay. So that should be 124 hours of community service total. You'll also be required to attend and complete a DWI education class. You will be required to attend and complete the DWI intervention. And you will be required to install a DWI. Well, you'll be required to attend a DWI education class and have a drug and alcohol assessment. You'll be required to attend a DWI intervention, attend and complete a DWI intervention class. You'll be required to install a DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. And you'll be required to serve 72 hours in the Jefferson County Jail. The 72 hours jail is to begin on September 16, 2022 at 9 a.m. You'll also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and condition of probation. Do you understand the state's offer and the adjustments that the court have made? And do you think that is fair and just? And do you accept it? Okay, I'll follow plea bargaining agreement with the adjustments. The court is going to find the adjustment was made pursuant to Article 42.15 Texas Code of Criminal Procedure because the court has found that you was indigent. All right, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney. Follow the.
I'm actually retyping it. So.
Oh yeah, just have a seat. She has to retype it, and then once she's finished retyping, she's going to call you back up, and then you and your attorney can sign the paperwork. Okay. This is cause number 330102, case of style of state of Texas versus Elax L. King. Mr. King, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. King?
All right, and yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. King, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Laura Perazo. Attorney Perazo, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Ms. Perazo, what is your announcement in Mr. King's case?
Your Honor, we would like Mr. King's case to be placed on the trial docket.
Okay. Give us a trial date.
October 10th.
Okay, this case will be reset for trial October 10th of 2022. Mr. King, your attorney is going to sign for your reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
You as well, sir.
And Ms. Perazo, once you sign for your reset, you'll be free to go as well. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
Next case is Geraldo Rugwina Garza.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garza, is that your full name?
Yes, sir. Gerardo Regina Garza.
Okay, Gerardo Regina Garza. Mr. Garza, how are you doing?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
Your Honor.
Ms. Garza, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Mr. James Paget, who is also appearing via Zoom. Mr. Paget, how are you doing?
Doing well. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Paget, what is your announcement in Mr. Garza's case?
Your Honor, I just received the video evidence on the case. What I need is 30 days. I'm going to be contacting my client next week and getting him a copy of the videotape, and then we'll proceed from there.
Okay, give us a reset date. Okay, this case is reset to October 21st of 2022. Mr. Garza, stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. They will be given notice of your reset date. This will conclude your case. You're free to go, and you have a blessed day, and I think your attorney was trying to tell you to give him a call.
I will, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll call Mr. Garza first thing next week.
Okay,
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
so stay in contact with your attorney, your bondsman, Mr. Garza. You're free to go, and thanks for being patient with us, and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Paget, I think this is your only case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your reset will be sent to you. You're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you for the point, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Next case is cause number 331688. Case is style of State of Texas versus Michael Anthony Medina. Mr. Medina, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Medina?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Medina, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Frank Adams. Attorney Adams, how are you doing?
Doing fine.
And Mr. Adams, what is your announcement in Mr. Medina's case?
I got a plea bargain today, and it's we'd like to plea it in October.
So you want to put it on a plea docket?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, you want to set it for plea, set it in October?
17/24.
The 17th.
Okay, case is going to be reset to October 17th of 2022. Mr. Medina, your attorney is going to sign for your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. You too.
You can stand over there with your attorney.
I don't have any contact information. So no way I can try to.
Okay,
He was.
let me,
Give them a reset for the day. Last night.
right, all right. Would you call the name of Mr. Phi Win at the courthouse door? He has Matuska. Matuska guy is here. Lindsay Miller. Yeah. Okay. Court is in session in cause number 331-144, case of style of state of Texas versus 5 Men Win. 5 Men Win was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's announcement docket. At or about 9 a.m., 5 Win's name was called by the court's bailiff at the courthouse door. 5 Win did not answer. 5 Win has not appeared in court since the court has been in session. The time now is 10:15. The court bailiff just called the name of 5 Win at the courthouse door again. 5 Win again did not answer. 5 Win has been given a reasonable time to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, they move to Boston.
That motion will be granted. 5 Win's bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest in cause number 331-144. And for the record, the court will note that 5 Win's attorney, Mr. John Macy, is here and he's present. Mr. Macy, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
If you remember it, Your Honor,
Let me get this. Here. Mr. Let me do this. So you sent a letter to the court?
well, yeah, but
Let
you
me,
were
let
gonna
me,
make a
hold on, let me,
decision.
get us to, the prosecutor. The
Yeah.
prosecutor, you can go ahead on and read this, the letter that he sent to the court.
Okay.
That's a motion that he has, attached, gentlemen, but. He should have, I think that was e-file, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir, it was. I mailed a copy to the DA's office.
Oh, you mailed a
last
copy?
week, too.
Okay.
Yeah, and I e-filed it. Yeah, it was e-filed.
Yeah, because the first time I saw the motion was e-file.
Yeah, it was e-filed and I mailed it both.
I may have received it.
Yeah, I mailed it to, is it Daniel Boyd?
Yeah, he's.
That's who I mailed it to, his office. It's on the letter.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Now, this is cause number 330-360, case of style of the state of Texas versus Colin Keith Eller. Mr. Eller, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Mr. Eller?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Eller. You're here with your attorney, Attorney Frank Adams. And again, Mr. Adams, how are you doing?
Doing all right.
And Mr. Gary Gillum is here on behalf of Jefferson County Probation Office. And Mr. Gillum, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you, sir.
State is represented in this case by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Gilliam, what is the state's position in this case?
Your Honor, the state, we're asking that the court sign the modification, sanctioning defendant, the modification to his probation for violating, which would sanction defendant for violating condition 7 for leaving the county in order that he served 1 day in jail with credit for 1 day from his arrest on an assault, which was an allegation in the MTRP.
Give me a copy of that motion to revoke. Give me a copy.
And if the court signs that modification, Your Honor, we'll move to dismiss the motion to revoke his probation.
Yeah.
You know, I made one mistake in my letter, Your Honor. I said that they dismissed it, the county court up there. Nothing's been filed in Hardin County, so they didn't dismiss anything. They're not gonna file on him. And he and his wife went up, what, last Friday and signed affidavits.
Have y'all been in contact with the DA's office in Hardin County?
Yeah, it's the county attorney.
I mean, the county attorney?
Yeah, actually,
Your Honor,
Yes.
probation has a different recommendation, Your Honor.
Okay.
We had probation's recommendation is the case get reset until we can confirm that there's no charges filed and not to, it's simply just to reset.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, we need to.
No.
Probation needs to know what the outcome is of the charges before we can make it.
Right. Because, sometimes charges. Yeah. Okay. I'll give y'all an opportunity to look into that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, 30 days.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, give us.
If he put these letters in this Friday, 30 days should be plenty of time.
Right.
yeah, they went up there. Y'all went up there. Who'd you talk to in the county attorney's office? Do you remember? Is it one of the clerks or?
Oh, okay. So they needed.
But we got one other thing. When I also e-filed a motion at this a term of his bond, not his probation, but his bond.
Yeah, he's still on bond. You're right.
Was to put a monitor, and I'd ask that be removed. That's costing them, and this thing's about to be dismissed.
Well, until we don't know at this, at this time, I read actually, I set the bond on the case personally because it came to me and it was I read the criminal history facts. I went by the requirements of Senate Bill, I think it's Senate Bill 6, the new bill, as well as Article 17.14 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. One of the concerns the court had not only was the facts of the case, but the safety of the victim. And that's one of the requirements that a court has to consider the safety of the victim when setting a bond. Safety of the victim, safety of police officers, safety of the public. And based on, we also looked at criminal history and all of those other requirements in Article 17.14. And based on that, all the information that the court looked at and that was available to the court set the bond and that condition of bond that the court felt was appropriate. And so at this time, the defendant is still on bond, and the court is not going to modify the conditions of the bond at this time.
Okay, so we're just basically waiting to make sure that,
Well, his case is going to be reset so that they can get the information that they need to verify everything, I guess, that's been said in the letter as well as in this hearing.
yeah.
Okay? So give us a reset date. Okay, this case is going to be reset to October 21st. You can get your reset, Mr. Adams. Once you get your reset, and give it to your client. You and your client will be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
I'll tell you what it is, Adam. Yes, sir.
The court is in session at cause number 324, case of style of state of Texas versus Christopher Becerra. Mr. Becerra, is that your full name?
It's that, yes, sir.
Oh, it's
It's that,
Becerra?
yeah, it was an accent, but that's fine, it's no problem.
Oh, so you have T's instead of two.
No,
How's it spelled?
it's BECE RRA.
Okay, Becerra.
That's that.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Becerra, how are you doing?
Doing good, how about you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Becerra, your case is on our motion to revoke probation docket. And Mr. Becerra, I have before me a motion to revoke your unadjudicated probation that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office on June 15th of 2020. In this motion, there are 5 allegations. If one of these allegations is found to be true by the court, your probation can be revoked, and because you're on probation for a Class A misdemeanor of unlawfully carrying a weapon, because you're on unadjudicated probation for this offense, you can receive, if your probation is revoked, you can receive up to 365 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, I do understand.
Now, is this your first time here on the motion to revoke probation?
I do believe so.
Yes. Now, Mr. Becerra, as a defendant in a criminal case, could you give him the judge's explanation of rights? As a defendant in a criminal case, you have a right to have an attorney. And you have 3 options in regard to obtaining an attorney. Number 1, you may hire an attorney. Do you understand that option? Sir. Number 2, if you do not have enough money to hire an attorney, you may request an attorney be appointed to represent you. Do you understand that option?
Yes, I do.
Number 3, you may represent yourself. Do you understand that option?
I do.
Okay, now, if you want an attorney to represent you and have enough money to hire an attorney, the case will be reset to give you time to do so. If you want an attorney and do not have the money to hire one, you will need to fill out a financial questionnaire so that the proper person can determine whether or not to appoint an attorney to represent you. You may not speak to the prosecutor. The prosecutor is the assistant district attorney. I'm standing right here. Unless you sign a waiver of your right to be represented by an attorney. Now, what a waiver is, you are waiving your right to have an attorney, and you will be representing yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Now, that basically means until you do that, you can't talk to the prosecutor if you want to represent yourself. Do you understand?
I do understand.
Now, be aware that the dangers to self-representation, waiving your right to an attorney and representing yourself may result in the worst outcome for you and your case, including the loss of significant legal rights and opportunities relating to military service, possession of a firearm, housing and public benefits, child custody, immigration status for non-citizens, and employment. If you choose to proceed without an attorney, you may change your mind at any time and may request counsel from the court. At the bottom of the document that has just been handed to you, it states defendant's choice. Mark initials next to only one choice. If your choice is, I want to reset this case to hire my own attorney, then you will place your initials on the first line to the left. If you have already hired an attorney, then you will place your initials on the second line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If your choice is you want to apply for court-appointed counsel, then you will place your initials on the third line to the left. If you have already been appointed a court-appointed counsel, then you will place your initials on the fourth line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If your choice is you want to waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself, then you'll place your initials on the fifth line to the left. Once you have finished placing your initials on one of the 5 lines, then you will sign the bottom of this document where it says defendant, and you will date it today's date, August 9th of 2022. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. Now, you should have a pen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can have a seat if you want to go back over that document and make your decision, and then we can call you back up.
There's one thing I want to mention. I'm coming from Houston. I have an attorney in Houston. I don't know if you might see them come right here, so I might use some contact.
Okay, well, just make your choice as to if you want to hire your attorney, that's fine. Yeah.
Right here. Or
You could take a seat right there and take time and fill it out. Mr. Porter. Yeah, you can just have a seat. We'll call you back up. Next case is cause number 326368, case style of state of Texas versus Samuel Cadena. Mr. Cadena, is that your full name?
yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Cadena?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Cadena. I see here that there's a note, your case was reset to give you an opportunity to hire an attorney. Is that correct? Have you hired your attorney?
Have no. Don't have any money on my own.
Okay, so you want to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney?
Whatever I can, because.
Okay, you have 3 options. One option is you can hire your attorney. If you can't, and then the second option is if you can't afford to hire an attorney, you can ask for a court-appointed attorney, and the court will allow you to fill out an affidavit to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney. And number 3, you can waive your right to an attorney to represent yourself.
If I choose either one or two, or one, how much time can you give me? How much more time can you give me?
We already gave you, I'm looking at this docket, this sheet, today is September, right?
Sure.
I see that we reset this case in April 11 of 2020. That's 5 months ago. So, I mean, we're giving you 5 months to hire an attorney. You're not gonna, so, I mean, and this case is 808 days old. Okay?
Okay, so, I guess we can do number two. How does that work?
Okay, we're gonna give you an affidavit. You're gonna fill out the affidavit. We'll review the affidavit to see whether or not you meet the eligibility requirements. Okay? Give him an affidavit of indigence and also give him a judge's explanation of rights to defendants without attorney. You're gonna have a seat right there, Your Honor.
If, let's say, I was to represent myself, when would that happen? Would that happen today? Would that?
You have to fill out the waiver. Well, you fill out the judge's explanation stating that you would like to represent yourself and waive your right. And then you read and sign a waiver, and then you'll have an opportunity to talk to the prosecutor. All of that is explained in our judge's explanation.
Okay, I'll do number two.
Okay? Mr. Bracetta, please come back up. Okay, now, Mr. Bracetta, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Bracetta, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Bracetta, you may put your hand down. Now, this is cause number 323354, case of Style of State of Texas versus Christopher Bracetta. Mr. Bracetta, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. Do you recognize this document?
I do.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
And are these your initials on the line stating that you would like to have your case recessed so that you can hire your own attorney?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Now, Mr. Bracetta, prior to signing and initialing this document, did you read this document?
Not the entirety of it.
Okay. Well, let me let you go ahead. You hand that to him. Once you have a seat back there and read the document, and once you finish reading it, we'll give you a chance to come back up. Which one? Christopher Levon. I'm fine, Mr. Levon. This is cause number 326310, case of Style of State of Texas versus Christopher Javon Levon. Mr. Javon Levan.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you doing, Mr. Levan?
I'm okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Levan. I have before me a motion to revoke your probation that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office on March 17 of 2022. In this document, it alleges that you were placed on, it alleges that on November 10th of 2020, that you were convicted of driving while intoxicated, and you were sentenced to, you was found guilty, and your punishment was assessed rather at 90 days confinement in Jefferson County Jail, a fine of $750. The fine, the confinement portion was probated for a period of 1 year. In the state's motion, there are two allegations. If the court finds one of these allegations to be true, your probation can be revoked, and if your probation is revoked, you can receive up to 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, as a defendant in a criminal case, you have three options in regards to hiring an attorney. Number one.
Christopher Levon, that's my case.
Huh?
That's my case. I believe you have Christopher Levon.
Oh, okay, so I'm sorry. Mr. Levon, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Adams?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Oh, he's already been appointed attorney.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, Mr. Adams, how are you doing?
Doing well.
And Mr. Adams, what is your announcement in Mr. Levon's case?
I just got this case in June. I got an offer this week of 60 days jail from Mr. Johnson. I do not anticipate that my client is going to take a 60-day jail sentence. So I would guess we just set it for a hearing.
Okay.
Because the offer is 60 days, right? I mean, Mr. Levon, am I right about that? You're not taking 60 days in jail?
No, sir.
Right. I didn't believe he was taking 60 days in jail. So we'd have to have a hearing. Now he has been to my office and he did do an intake, and I do have that from him. And I guess we'll just prepare for a hearing, whatever date that you got.
Give us a hearing date. Now we're gonna put it on a Friday. We're gonna have to make sure that our court reporter is available too. Okay. We're gonna reset it for a hearing. And Mr. Adams, we're gonna send you the reset date. We're gonna coordinate it with our court coordinator. I mean, our court reporter.
Okay, no problem. I'll just wait for the facts, and then
Okay.
Mr. Vaughn just come get with me in, I guess, about a week or 2 weeks, and I can let you know what the hearing date is, since we're not taking the 60 days jail.
Yes, sir.
I know. So, Mr. Levon,
Yes, sir.
or Levan, is it Levan?
It's Javon Levine.
Levan, okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Levan.
Yes, sir.
You're free to go, stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. Your attorney is gonna be giving you a reset date, your bondsman will as well. And so you can get those dates from your attorney and your bondsman, okay? So you're free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Adams, your reset with those court dates will be sent to you, huh?
I just go see him.
I think that's what he said.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Adams, this is on the case?
That's it. Thank you, Judge.
All right, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
All right, bye-bye.
Won't you give me that, Mr. Bracetta? Thank you. Mr. Bracetta, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendant Without an Attorney, and this is in cause number 323354. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, Mr. Bracetta, were you previously sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Bracetta, did you read this document?
Yes, sir, I did.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, it is.
Or these are your initials on the line stating that you would like to have your case reset so that you can hire your own attorney?
That is correct.
And prior to signing an initial in this document, did you read the document? Did you understand what you read?
I do.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Bracetta, you're gonna stand on the X in front of our court coordinator. Your case is going to be reset to give you an opportunity to hire your attorney.
Yes, sir.
Stand on the 4X.
How long is it?
60 days. That should be enough time for. Okay. Now, Mr. Bracetta, once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Samuel Cadena? This is cause number 326368. Case of South State of Texas versus Samuel Cadena. Mr. Cadena, is that your full name? Mr. Cadena, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Cadena, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Cadena, you may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Cadena, I have before me a document that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney. Mr. Cadena, do you recognize this document? Huh? And are these your initials on the line stating you want to apply for a court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I also have a document before me that is titled Affidavit of Indigence. And do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of this document, there's a signature that is above the line that is titled Defendant's Signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Cadena, before you signed and initialed these documents, did you read the documents? Okay. Mr. Cadena, well, Mr. Porter, why don't you get this back to Mr. Cadena so that he can read these documents. He can have a seat back in his chair.
Susan's coming.
Oh, it shows that you're in the tablet, so.
He's ready. Mr. Cadena, you can come back up. We're back in session and clause number 326-368, State of Texas versus Samuel Cadena. Mr. Cadena, you was previously sworn in, is that correct? Now, Mr. Cadena, this document that I have is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without an Attorney. Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Or these your initials on the line stating you want to apply for court-appointed attorney?
Yes, sir.
And also, I have an affidavit of indigence. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant Signature. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Now, okay, Mr. Cadena. You meet the eligibility requirements for the appointment of a court-appointed attorney that's being appointed to represent you. In this case, is attorney Bruce Cobb. Mr. Cadena, the court coordinator is going to give you information on how to contact Mr. Cobb. Mr. Cobb will also be given information on how to contact you. What did you charge with? Mr. Get out of here. Okay. Now, Mr. Cadena, you're gonna stand on that 4X in front of our court coordinator. She's gonna give you information on how to contact the attorney. Once you get the information, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Let's see, this is no. Next case is cause number 332106. Case to style the state of Texas versus Lindsay Michelle Miller. Ms. Miller, your full name is Lindsay Michelle Miller.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Miller, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Miller, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Miller, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Miller?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's good, Ms. Miller. You're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, how are you doing?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Matuska, do you waive a record in Ms. Miller's case?
You do, Your Honor.
Ms. Miller, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This information alleges that on or about March 17th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Ms. Miller, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. Miller, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And are you pleading guilty? It's supposed to be Class A,
Yes, sir.
the box. And are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because it is guilty?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Judge, because of the language on the BAC in that paragraph, you want me to keep that check?
No. That's the legislature kept it as a Class A. And saw fit to change it yet. And now, Ms. Miller, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Now, box that's checked states that this is a Class A misdemeanor, and the range of punishment is confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 1 year, a fine not to exceed $4,000, or both such fine and confinement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The next page is the same. Well, let me read that again. Class A misdemeanor is confinement in jail for a term not to exceed 1 year, a fine not to exceed $4,000, or both such fine and confinement. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials, LM, on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of the Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? And the next document that I have is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Miller, prior to signing and initialing these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Matuska, you're waiving a record in this case, is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And Ms. Miller, are you a U.S. citizen?
Sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor, State Officer Stage 1.
Any objections? No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Matuska, you've advised and counsel Ms. Miller. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Miller, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Miller, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in Jefferson County Jail for a period of 90 days. We're asking that the court suspend the imposition of that jail sentence placing defendant on community supervision for a period of 1 year, Your Honor, requiring defendant to pay a fine of $750 and requiring defendant to complete 50 hours of community service. In addition to the standard probation conditions, we're asking that for DWI conditions to include DWI education course, a drug and alcohol assessment, and an interlock device. Your Honor.
Ms. Miller, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you would not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus court costs, which comes to a total of $1,172. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll be required to reimburse Jefferson County Court-appointed attorney's fees of $250. You'll be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation, is $205 per month. Will you be able to pay the $205? You will also be required to perform 50 hours of community service, attend and complete a DWI education class, and have a drug and alcohol assessment. You will also be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Ms. Miller, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Miller, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Miller, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of your attorney. Once you finish, of our clerk, once you finish following the directions of our clerk, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Matuska, once you sign the appropriate documents, you'll be free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Miller, can I get your right thumbprint on that blue license, please?
Because she was the probation office